There are a few TV series that probably from your generation, if you're similar to my generation, that when a theme tune comes on screen, you will be like, yep, that is the thing I grew up with that helped me grow. When I'm talking about things like DuckTales, Airwolf, the A-Team, Pokemon, there are loads that people like me and you probably just know some of the words or are able to hum the whole theme tune. And when it comes to the original Power Rangers, when I say, go, go Power Rangers, you can probably hear the theme tune in your head. And so now we have a film which people thought were a film, but it's not actually a film. It's a Netflix Presents special, longer than an episode, shorter than a film, just over 40 minutes, that's going to have a number of groups of people either hating on it or loving it, depending on how far your nostalgia will carry you. But is it worth it? Let's jump in. The Rangers come face to face with a familiar threat from the past. In the midst of a global crisis, they are called on once again to be the heroes the world needs. So Charlie Haskell directs this, and he has directed so much previous Power Ranger content, like loads. Just check his IMDb page from SPD to the current one, and also is often a second unit director on things like Hercules, the Evil Dead series, 30 Days of Night. It's a very random IMDb look at his working, so he's gone from Power Rangers to the Evil Dead, which is interesting to me. Anyway, this was 40 minutes of nostalgia, but I can't sit here and say it was good. I don't know, there's probably going to be a lot of hate for me being negative at all about this. Like, come on, Ruben, what are you expecting from this? It is really kind of bringing those characters back. Most of them, not all of them, because some are not with us anymore. And I think the way they showcase the way they kind of tackle it and pay homage to those characters is done fairly well. I don't know what you're expecting. You can't expect something great out of this. If you've seen the original Power Rangers or even the Power Rangers now, you'll know that it's tongue-in-cheek and cheesy and funny because of how serious they take it in parts, but then how silly and slapstick it is. There are certain characters that you need to have in a Power Rangers, like the putties, especially if you're doing the originals, to, I guess, play the nostalgia card. The thing is, they are old now, and seeing them in their suits as like dad bods, that kind of stuff in the Power Ranger suit, I don't know. I don't know about it. It was wonderful to see some of their, and that was the one that I grew up with, or my kids grew up with, seeing those Power Rangers. So you see familiar faces that are older with dad bods and mum bods and that kind of thing. They've all grown up and had their kids, and they've been drawn back for this old baddie that doesn't look quite right, and when you see it you'll understand it, because we couldn't actually have that baddie that we wanted. All the tropes are there from they can't beat them at first, and then there's going to be this Power Ranger that needs to come into her powers. There's that storyline element. There's even a moment of emotional context where they expect the audience for you to be, I guess, to be emotionally engaged. I wasn't at all. I was more like partly on the nostalgia trip, going, oh, that's so weird to hear the theme tune and see those actors again. The problem is, it doesn't even feel as good as the original. Like, that's what they're trying to do, like have an episode but just years later. The dialogue and the way it's framed and filmed seems stilted. So, I mean, the dialogue's never going to be great. It isn't in this. And the acting is never going to be great, because that's not what you don't expect Oscar performances. So that, I can absolutely put aside. The problem is, it's drawn out. There's no actual real slapstick moments. There's characters that I feel like they're missing, that they didn't get back, but they alert to. There are moments where you just feel like you needed to cut that bit out. It feels like a stretched out episode. So really, going back to watching the original is probably your best bet for nostalgia, for what you wanted to see, have all the characters there, all the actors there. I guess this is just kind of paying a tribute. I don't know if it's a cash grab, it probably is partly. but also the way they did it, it does feel like a homage, and they did the best they can, but also you feel the age of the actors being in, you know, doing those moves. The choreography is not nearly as good as it used to be. Like some of the movements I used to watch, and maybe that was because I had younger eyes on, or my kids were loving it, but some of the moves in the choreography, yeah, they don't look like they connect. The way it's filmed and shot is, I mean, I'm trying here to justify choreographed moves in a Power Ranger thing. None of this is real. None of it looks good. But I just feel like it looked better way back when. Now it just feels like it's old. You know, in the classic Lethal Weapon movie, Lethal Weapon 4, where they're like, we're not too old for this shit. I feel like maybe this is, let's not do more of these and let the other generations continue with it. If you want to see good Power Ranger adult stuff, there is one that Tommy did with Bat in the Sun. There's obviously other versions. The Power Ranger movie was nearly as bad as people made it out to be. Certainly is better production with money and story than this. I know this is going to be controversial because everybody has different feelings on this, of whether they should have left it alone or continued it. Maybe some will absolutely love this and understand what they were going for. For me, as someone that used to watch the original, haven't seen it for years, but I do miss like the characters like of Tommy. This was weird. This was a weird experience. I don't even know how to rate it. I don't want to. I think it's not really a film. It's not really an episode. It is just a presentation of seeing some of those actors back on screen again. Very hard to review something like this because it holds a place differently. Nostalgic, fun, not really good. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Who's your favorite Power Ranger and which is your favorite series? If you're like a die-hard fan, let me know. I'd love to know. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.